All right, everybody, and welcome to the weekly Wednesday live stream. Allow me to step away for a moment, play you a tune, check out the new Starfield. We've got Cygnus in the background, and here's a track. We'll be back in a minute once we have everything all set up. All right, so for today's live stream, we'll be talking about whatever you want. And if you're viewing, make sure you leave us a comment so we know what you would prefer to talk about. Part of the interactivity of our live streams is you, the viewer, letting us know what you'd like to see. So we have certain stories that we're guaranteed to cover, such as how to cause a traffic jam without any traffic. Yes. We'll also look at some economic stories probably and so on. So yeah, let's get to it. First thing we should probably talk about is the Redbubble sale, which there are links below the video to the Redbubble shop as well as to smAsho.com at which you can link to the Redbubble shop. The sale ends sometime tonight. So the sale will not continue into July. First thing we'll talk about is meteorology. And we've got some thunderstorms moving into western Pennsylvania. So here's the visible satellite. And we're pretty much at a zoomed out view here. This is a low zoom setting. Resolution 2 kilometers on these. And some rapid cloud nucleation happening here, as well as some sudden rainfall as well over places like West Virginia. Here's a water vapor map. Rapid cloud nucleation over the Ohio Valley period. So, supercell-sized cloud developing there. And we can expect some training in Pennsylvania here as these are moving in the same direction as the cloud propagation. So that's a recipe for repeated storms in the same location, folks. We call it training. And you can see that going on already a bit on the Doppler there. There will be some places that get hit multiple times. And it probably will eventually get to us if you're wondering where we're located. Smash staff and I are located about there. That's as much resolution as you get on our location. Ha 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 ha. So yes, we've got a Zoom call going today also, by the way. And of course, our patrons get first dibs on that. So that's the first thing to announce, is that the new format of the Wednesday streams will be that you can appear on the video. We'll give you a mic on the Zoom call, yes. And you'll actually be able to appear in video and audio, theoretically speaking. Pretty sure it does work, though, as Zoom has been working pretty well. So I've been fairly impressed by the quality of Zoom. So first things first, we should talk about the merch sale. So since the merch sale ends today, you should probably find out about this immediately. And so here, check this out. This is they just showed up, folks. It's the HIPAA. My vaccination status is none of your business socks. So these will be marked down until the month of July. If you purchase these in July, you're highly unlikely to get a discount, as it will end tonight around midnight. And yeah, Smash staff, let us know what you thought. Yes. So anyway, to find those, you can head to smAshomash.com. There's the home page. If you click smAsho merch, you'll find this page here, the red bubble shop. And that's the first design shown there. So the Vaccinate This products, and each one of the things come in various different products. So this one, we've got 7 designs, but each one has like 40 or 50 products. So this one's got shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. If you come down to the bottom of the list, you find prints, stickers, shower curtain. I like the shower curtain. The My Vaccination Status is none of your business throw blanket, or perhaps giant scarf. If you'd like to fly a giant My Vaccination Status is none of your business HIPAA. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. If you weren't aware of that, it incidentally has not evaporated. And I'll just say that as we submit to the tyranny to the point where the videos remain monetized on YouTube. So that's about it. We'll just leave that there. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. And that's twitter.com/smAshomash. And also, thanks to our patrons, as this video is a YouTube Live exclusive. Although you will be able to watch it in syndication, leave us a comment either way and press the share button, as the algorithms may not be doing it for us. Last week's video got demonetized and then got remonetized. So thanks for keeping us slightly monetized, our patrons. Our patrons' efforts make a huge difference in us putting out more content. So cheers, patrons. Patreon.com/smAshomash. If you'd like to contribute, we'd greatly appreciate that, as we need a lot more funding to reach our goals in the year 2021. Do you have a news site which you've been currently viewing? What is it that has been irking you lately? All right. We've got a fantastic story here about some I'm not sure if it's misuse. It's use. Put it that way. It's definitely use. Somebody's been using technology in a very interesting fashion. And I'll explain this once I find the article here. I did find a good version of it on, here we go, how to virtually block a road. And this is not, I'm not talking about some sort of terrorist activity, folks. There was a guy who took a walk with 99 phones. And what he did was he affected the maps. So here's the article. I will display this, and not me. Is it now? Are we good? Yes. There we go. So this guy took a wagon and he put 99 smartphones in it, and he made sure that Google location was turned on. And then he went for a walk and caused traffic to not be there. So he could just walk down the middle of the road because everybody avoided that area because the maps told him to. So now, while this is essentially a misuse of the communication, nonetheless, this smokes out how the devices work. So now I looked this up long ago because as a professional driver, I had to know how the information was being gathered and so on to best use the devices. But it's very important to use, yes, wait for it, I'm going to say it. It's very important to use Google Maps because everybody's devices use it. And yes, I know you can make the argument that some people intentionally don't use it, but enough people use it that it doesn't currently matter. And so you should use it to know where traffic is. Now, what you're assuming is that there's no guy walking down the street with a wagon with 99 cell phones in it. And I just wanted to just cite that little interesting article and series of facts about how the technology works, because how it works is everybody's devices that have location turned on tell the network how fast people are moving. So if you're in a car, but you're not in a car and you're moving very slowly, like, oh, I don't know, towing a wagon full of smartphones while riding a bicycle, right? Or going really slow, just walking like this guy was doing. It's going to make Google think that there are 99 cars there moving at 5 miles per hour, and that some maniacs are driving through the area at normal speed, for example. So that's just a little interesting article that I saw somebody talking about. This one's actually from last year, February of 2020. I thought that may amuse our viewers. So yes, thanks for leaving comments, smAsho staff and Renee. Let's take a look at some economic information. Are you wondering what's going on with crypto? Well, it's been a little on the hammered side lately. Let's start out by looking at Bitcoin as reported by Coinbase. It's at $34,000 per Bitcoin. So let's display the 1 year. Oh my God. Look at this. Hey, Smash staff, are you watching? Is that the nut? All right, so Bitcoin currently at 34,000. There's clearly a support level established here over the last month in this speculative investment. The world's first cryptocurrency. And of course, the most popular and priciest is Bitcoin. Next, we'll look at Ethereum because, well, it's Ethereum. Never mind. We'll use coin metrics for Ethereum. There we go. 2,155 bucks per Ethereum. A very different chart than Bitcoin. Not as long of a spike, I'll say. A shorter time duration at very high levels. And those levels were about $4,200 per Ether, I think is the correct terminology. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And last but not least, we'll take a look at stellar lumens. As reported by Coinmetrics, it's like a quarter, 27 cents per stellar lumen, folks. So I don't know if you remember, there was a point where I said buy it around here, and it went up to 64 cents. And apparently it went to over 70 cents there for a moment. You would have just about doubled your cash in a couple of weeks here if you would have bought in around 39, 38. Now it's at 27 cents per stellar lumen. And if you want to hear about the news about stellar lumens, go read about it. But one thing, folks, don't use Google as a verb. Please don't use Google as a verb. And go visit our Redbubble shop. The designs are just dope. And check out the shirt I'm wearing now. Earlier this morning, I was wearing the My Vaccination Status is None of Your Business HIPAA shirt. Now, I've got the Google bias. Yes. Google as a verb. It means to obtain biased information about somebody or something on the internet using the Google using the Google thing, Googling it, using it as a verb. By the way, Google doesn't want you to use Google as a verb, and neither do I, unless it means to obtain biased information about something on the internet. I know the videos are YouTube exclusive. Google will affirm this because you can essentially bribe them to appear higher on the search results. That's part of their business model. Moving on, to use it in a sentence, I Googled it and now I know less about it. Depending on what it is, depending on how many lives were cost by things like censorship about coronavirus, for example. In fact, tying that to our channel on YouTube, I would have to say that I find it odd that we got a strike. Not really, we got a warning, right? So, and that'll never go away from our channel because we allegedly put out misinformation. Medical misinformation was apparently transmitted from our channel. Of course, we can never get an answer as to what that means, what specifically it allegedly was, or any sort of a rational or coherent argument in any way about how we put out medical misinformation, because we probably said something like pharmaceutical interventions can be effective. Pharmaceutical interventions are a thing. Non-pharmaceutical interventions are wholly ineffective. We probably said something, and of course I would never allege such a thing now, but maybe I said something like asymptomatic people don't drive pandemics because they don't affect anybody. So there's that. Pandemics are driven by people who have symptoms, aka sick people. I know it's complex, folks. I know it's complex. Maybe I said something like masks didn't work during the Justinian plague, the Black Plague, the Spanish flu, SARS, MERS, H1N1, and the other H1 varieties. They didn't work back then. I remember watching people do it in the mid-2000s and the mid-2010s. And it wasn't effective. It was not effective. Masks are for medical personnel, so they don't cough in a wound or something. That's what those surgical masks that everybody wrapped their lives around last year. Anyway, let us know what you think about accountability occurring in the year 2021. I don't see very much accountability. Apparently, Cuomo can cause tens of thousands of deaths in nursing homes and diddle the staff and remain governor. So, shout out to New York, one of the bananaist of the republics of the United Banana Republics of former America. Yes, you're doing a fine job, governors. Shout out to all the governors who went out of their way to make it abundantly clear that they are not capable of wielding any power. I wouldn't trust a certain governor of Pennsylvania, Governor Tom Wolf, to rake our leaves. I certainly will not be listening to the governor about health decisions. What about you? How's your governor been working out? Is your governor like the Fauci? Is your governor the new De Niro or Pacino? Let us know in the comments if your governor is the De Niro or the Pacino of COVID, because it's just... Anyway, shifting gears back to something completely different. Stellar lumens is 27 cents per stellar lumen. There it is. I don't know what else to tell you. Let's take a look at some horrifying headlines at CNN.com. Let's go to CNN's homepage. You're going to see, oh my God, Bill Cosby's conviction vacated. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania vacated his conviction and judgment. Cosby's lawyer believes his client will be released today. Hide your alcoholic beverages, folks. Hide your beverages. Don't let your niece go. Cosby's getting out, and people will be roofied. All right. So interesting. That's the top news story. The top news story is Cosby's getting out. It's like, oh man, stock up on rape kits. All right. So thanks CNN. That was an interesting headline. Let's check CBS News, because CBS has always been a completely objective news source, right? CBS, the Communist Broadcasting Network, or is that? I get that? I don't know. Should I have? All right, so I think last week we tuned into CBS's homepage, and look, they want to send me alerts, no big deal. Look at the header that they have on their homepage. I got to show you this. This header is a disaster. Let me make sure that's on screen. All right, there we go. So look at this header. It makes you want to take a header. It makes you want to apply enough leeches to cause okay, I won't say anything like that. If I scroll down, you can see that this is a header. It might look like it's the page, but look at this. It's a monstrosity. They're like, look at this crap. All right. So Cosby, court overturns conviction. Tape your orifices, ladies. If I don't know, maybe start wearing body cams. So anyway, I don't know anything about the case. So their CBSN live story is a reference to a Vice. So what probably happened here, there's no mute button, of course. What they probably did here is picked up Vice's story, where Vice did actual work. Vice probably did actual work and researched the way the NRA for families is influencing the GOP. I know absolutely nothing about it, and I'm not going to comment because, frankly, my dear, I need a dose of zerohedge.com to rid me of this nonsense, whose top headline is Bill Cosby conviction overturned on technicality. Makes you want to vanish off the screen. Will be released from prison within hours. He vowed to serve all 10 years rather than admit remorse over a 2004 encounter with accuser Andrea Constant. Maybe it was nonsense. Maybe she was gold digging when she got roofied, or whatever happened. Again, I have no idea. Whatever allegedly happened. Oh, look, an article about panic porn dressed up as science. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he said, oh my God, cases are going up. He said, the numbers are rising in Pennsylvania. the Delta variant. I said, the numbers? What numbers? Cases? And he said, yes, cases. And I said, that's irrelevant, just like it was last March. The number of cases is irrelevant. What's relevant would be like people with symptoms, hospitalizations, deaths from but not with COVID. Those are like relevant pieces of data. Cases is not relevant because you could. Anyway, I'm not going to get into why cases is irrelevant data. It's just, it's just whatever. But the point is, as the pandemic moves on, herd immunity rises among the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, because a significant portion of the unvaccinated as well as the vaccinated develop an immune response to the virus. I know it seems incredibly complex and difficult to understand for people who haven't, studied this for 5 minutes. But in any case, some of us who are like science pundits have studied this for a lot more than 5 minutes. And there's a reason why some of us were right from day one. And I can cite January 23rd of last year as the day that I started becoming right constantly about the COVID. And on that note, it's time to take a break. It's time for a musical interlude before we head back to an actual news site, Zero Hedge. And this one's dedicated to SMASH staff. By the way, you can find that track linked below the video. That's Molybdenum 99. All right, so back to the live stream here. We showed some imagery of the closest star here for a minute. It's a 2-day video. I like it. So we'll put your chats up on the screen here. Display those. Let me just make that a little larger so it's readable for the viewers who viewed afterwards. Yeah, the socks are totally sweet. I mean, check it out. It's epic. And thanks everybody who left comments. Yeah, it's been a disaster. A disaster. The year 2020 has been absolutely a year of clarity where it's become clear what the problems are. The problems have made themselves evidently clear. In the cases of people doing things and becoming the problems by inappropriately wielding power and mandating ridiculous things. It's like, you know, people were saying, like, you can require your customers to do a headstand in order to enter your convenience store, I guess. But ultimately what that should lead to is somebody going to a different convenience store. So, I mean, Pennsylvania is all over the place too, by the way. Pennsylvania, folks, is all over the place. If you go to an ultra-urban area, people will be masked everywhere. People will be masked outside. It's freaking bonkers. Like, wherever you are, it might suck. It might suck harder than here, I guess. There are some places that are worse, I hear. But I see some pretty bad places. I see people driving in cars alone with a mask on. I see people walking down the street in 90-degree temperatures alone with a mask on. And it's horrifying. Here's a thing that didn't happen to me. Last year, everybody started to think, for some reason, that people not in a mask are some sort of threat. And that's the failure. That's the failure of the logic. That's why everybody's utterly, utterly confused right now. Because, and Rachel Maddow said something about this. She's like, I have to rewire myself to not assume people not wearing a mask are a threat. It's bonkers. Because when you drink that much Kool-Aid, when you drink that much of the Kool-Aid, you could end up brain dead. And that's basically what's going on with that. I mean, it is a disaster. A disaster. And let me just reiterate. I may have said in the past that non-pharmaceutical interventions were ineffective, but I would never say that now, because I'm not allowed to say that, because Google might demonetize the video. So, you know, let us know what you think about that in the comments. And, you know, maybe put a at Google, at Alphabet, at YouTube, at whoever about the little problem that's currently going on with censorship. It is a complete disaster. And by the way, no suddenly enlightened society was suddenly enlightened because giant multi-billion-dollar, multi-trillion-dollar, multinational corporations have decided what the truth is. Because what the truth is their increasing share price. That's what the truth is to the board, perhaps. So, in any case, if they're doing things that mislead the shareholders, they're doing things that mislead the shareholders. I've accused nobody of anything in this analysis of reality. So, continuing on, let's go back to Zero Hedge. Somebody might have been saying something rational there. Who knows? Let's display it on screen. As here at the Smash News Network, we like to cite reason, not insanity and nonsense. So, and there's so much insanity and nonsense on YouTube. Congratulations on finding our channel. And we'll let you know when we're going to have a 2,000 subscriber celebration. At the current rate of growth, we may see 2,000 subscribers in the year 20,000. Yes, I came back from the year 2 billion to let myself know that. The Delta variant. Are you frightened of the Delta variant? I mean, personally, I'm like, oh my God, look at these graphs. It's a multi-speed vaccination drive. Oh, Undertaker, oh. You're going to be harvesting a lot of souls if your vaccination drive doesn't reach the parameters established by Dr. Fauci. Oh. All right, I apologize for that temporary aside. I love when people's arguments are not substantive, but are rather references to how important they are, or something like that. Those are my favorite arguments. The kind that are over before they begin. What are your thoughts on those arguments? I think those are the best arguments. Anyway, a variant with a higher communicability doesn't necessarily mean it's going to significantly affect things like symptoms and death rates, just because of the way infectious diseases propagate. I mean, if a bunch of people are getting the variant and they're already immune because of vaccination or natural immunity, guess what happens? Hold on. Just seriously, just guess what happens. Guess what happens. I'll give you 5 more seconds to leave a comment. Guess what happens. What happens is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing happens. Some people might go get tested and they'll go, "Oh, geez, I've tested positive. Oh my God, I must move to a bubble. Perhaps I will have to throw my daughter into a volcano." Depending on which nonsense I'm believing today. All right, let's get out of entropy for a minute. Hey, check it out. The new star field background. Yes, that's Deneb, right? Right up there, the brightest star there. That's Alpha Cygni, yes. If you were wondering. Yeah, there's a new star field back there. Because here at the Smash News Network. All right. So what did Rand Paul have to say about this? Well, here's the quote from Rand Paul. "Don't let the fear-mongers win. New Public England study of Delta variant shows 44 deaths out of 53,822, 0.08% in unvaccinated group." That sounds scary. Oh my God. Dr. Fauci said, are you seeing this? Is this? Here at the Smash News Network, we take our respiratory health very seriously. And what you don't want to do, folks, is this. Because you'll inhale the virus deep into your sinus passages. Anyway, COVID. I'm just going to leave you there because I still don't think you're a threat, okay? I think you're stolen technology and that you're made in China. China. Oh, man, seriously. Are you sick of hearing about COVID yet, folks? Are you sick of hearing about COVID? Leave us a comment. Let us know. Should we make another The COVID Chronicles video, or have you heard enough about the MF and SOB and GD COVID? I think there's sufficient stuff. I got to make up new curse words. Because of the COVID. I mean, look, half the population came out of the woodwork and said, Hey, CS, you thought we were stupid. We're not just stupid, we're trying to sabotage all of society. Just so you know, okay? Okay, brah? Brah. We're just trying to sabotage all aspects of society. No big deal. So if you've seen all of society crumbling in the year 2020, hopefully that was clear to you. And it was clear to a lot of people, especially those of us who get out a lot and drive like 1,000 miles a week. It was clear that society was crumbling. And anyway, I don't know where I was going with this, but 2021 should be the year of accountability. You see, because that's the way it works, right? You recognize a thing and then you respond to the thing. Forgive, forget, hold accountable. Seems very simple. But for some reason, some people get promoted for extreme incompetence. So what is up with that? How come why is there a pattern of promotion for incompetence? Oh my God, it's a scam likely. Let's talk to a scammer. Hello? Hello? Yes?
Yes, hi, it's Ryan calling with AARP Security. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I do appreciate you asking. So we're giving homeowners out there the opportunity to get fully protected from break-ins.
Homos?
Security system.
We don't let any homos hang out around here. Homosexuals, we don't let them hang around here. So this is not going to be for us because we're not into that gay stuff. All right? I don't think he liked my response. Okay, so that was fun. The phone said scam likely. Anyway, they were trying to insure my home. So, anyway. Getting back to Zero Hedge articles, let's see what else is on the Zero Hedge headlines. We won't just look at their top headline as they have some sort of semblance of rationale. COVID, I'm leaving you there, COVID. You know why? Because you're cheap plastic made in China, okay? You can follow my head all day, okay? It's not going to do anything. Unlike Callaway golf clubs, fake cheap Chinese plastic Callaway golf clubs explode when you use the drivers. Chinese cheap plastic COVID-19 explodes when it reaches my immune system, okay? Back in March of last year, I snorted a giant line of COVID. Giant line of COVID, like the size of a Milky Way bar, okay? It did nothing to me, okay? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, so we're gonna COVID. I know you're such a ham, COVID. You're gonna have to be taken off camera. Sorry. You had nothing in your contract, COVID. You can go to hell. You go to hell. We're not paying you anything. You can shove it up your COVID. Wear masks, don't wear masks. Let us know in the comments what your theory is. Seriously, I want to know what your theory is on what the policy is supposed to be. On get those masks out of here. They do more harm than good. It's clear. Don't even try to convince me. What is going on with the Fed's reserve repo? Up to $150 billion in a day. Inflation much? Black Sea incident could put the world on the brink of World War III because of a warning shot. What? U.S. spy plane. Warning shots fired by the Russian side continue to be shrouded in mystery and accusations and counter-accusations between the Kremlin and the West. I was not aware of that. On Wednesday, Putin inserted a new bombshell allegation regarding the June 23rd encounter, which could have sparked open conflict. Were you even aware of this? I'm sure CNN and CBS have a story about this, buried on page 6. I wouldn't worry too much about it escalating into World War III, folks. Russia doesn't want World War III, and neither does China, the paper tiger, okay? And neither does the West. Nobody wants World War III. When your economies are shattered, it's a bad time for World War III. So I think everybody's smart enough to understand this. And, you know, I understand that Russia isn't considered the West, but Russia isn't all that dissimilar from most of the folks in the West. The populace, even the government officials, they're ultimately their values, I'll say, aren't completely different from most people in the West. That's just a fact. I mean, just because Putin celebrates Easter on a different day than you doesn't mean he's all that different. I mean, of course, there are obvious critiques to be made of various government officials, and I'm the first. You know, I was highly critical of a guy named George W. Bush, highly critical of a guy called Barack Obama, highly critical of a guy called Donald Trump, highly critical of a guy called Bill Clinton, for that matter. So, in any case, I'm just not concerned about that stuff at all. It looks like clickbait. How average inflation hit 2.4%. I don't know what they're talking about. Average inflation hit 2.4%. Are you serious? Average inflation. Oh. Since the start of the pandemic, year over year. Oh, no. Hey, what's up with Kim Jong-un losing weight? Who heard about Kim Jong-un losing weight? Let's put your chats back on the screen here. I see some chats came through. We'll put your chats back on the screen right over Kim Jong-un's face. Oh. There you go. As we like interactivity at the Smash News Network. Least busted. Name and news. What are the restrictions in Ireland? Neo-Calamastics. What are the requirements? Just you got to wear a mask and a full hazmat suit? You got to wear scuba gear? What? That sounds fun, Robert. That sounds like great fun. Refusing to leave and refusing to wear stuff at the post office. That sounds fun. No mask, no jab. Florida is open and fun. Do not come to Florida. Yeah, the world is pretty jacked up. And you know what? Florida is a prime example of states' rights, right? Florida is a prime example of why it is good for states to decide, assuming that you don't have a sociopath as a governor. I'll just say that. If the governor of the state does wise things that save people's lives, as opposed to unwise things that cost tens of thousands of lives, especially in places like nursing homes, those governors show us why it's important to have the concept of federalism, where power is not expressly going to the federal government, go to the state governments by default. And in most cases, there doesn't need to be a law, period. And let's check out some more news stories here. I don't know how they're saying anything about inflation, by the way. We're expecting inflation to be over 10%. Within the next, there will be a period within the next year or so where inflation will be over 10%, most likely. Especially when you're using real information, like the price of groceries and gas. Yeah, most Americans may not be aware of that. That's always interesting. Anyway, let's look at another news source. How about, we haven't been to HuffPost for a while. Let's check out HuffPost.com. And without saying a word, I'm going to allow this to scroll, and I'm going to get the hell off the screen and show this mess. Good God. All right. Conviction overturned. Get ready to see more about that. Second headline, first criminal charges against Trump org as early as tomorrow. All right. Now people are going to be stoked. Cosby goes away, and Trump is on trial. They're going to get him this time. Maybe. Oh my God. Look at, oh my God. Holy cripes. All right, I'm absolutely confused now. All right, so what else can we talk about here? I got an idea. Let's put a giant image of Cosby's face. Oh. Here we go. Oh, yeah. How about a slideshow? All right, perfect. There you go. Thanks, HuffPo. HuffPo. Everybody, shout out to HuffPo. Ariana, doing a fine job. And if you'd like to come on Smash News Network, least busted name of news, we will be more than happy to interview you. Ariana. All right. And while we have this lovely slideshow of animated goodness playing, we'll put your chats on the screen. Fantastic. Just fantastic. Ah, yes. And thanks for reminding me about the Tic Tac story. Yes. Robert La Follette. The Tic Tac story, right? Don't you want to know about the Tic Tacs? What could I possibly think about the Tic Tacs? Because I've got opinions on those Tic Tacs. Oh my God. There we go. Space, a frontier. These are the voyages of me conjecturing about things that I have really no basis to conjecture about. So, yeah, I don't see any compelling evidence of any intelligent life in the universe. I don't. I don't. You'd think there'd be a signal there. Now, the most likely thing would be is if there is intelligent life, it's smart enough to hide from mankind. So that's part of, in other words, if you knew how an ant can see that you're there, you can hide in such a way that the ant is unable to detect you for whatever, in whatever way, whether it's chemically or whatever. You could wear a hazmat suit or you could have a fan on you or something, right? So there would be ways to hide. If you've known about a certain life form for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years perhaps, you'd probably have some sort of an idea of what they would see and what they would not see and all that sort of, if you had a cloaking device, you could fly right over their head and they might not know you're there, right? So that's part of the thing you have to look into when you're talking about things like the Tic Tac. And I'm just going to do the most basic search here just to find some graphics. Because, of course, it is one of the most interesting things ever in that pretty much all governments have agreed that we don't know how anything could do this. And based on things like G-forces, how could there be somebody inside of those craft? Maybe they're intelligently controlled, but they're drones of some sort. I mean, that seems like sort of a plausible explanation. Maybe somebody figured out a way to make these things where they can, the technology within can survive a lot more G's than a person can, like experimental aircraft. We've had these for ages. There are all kinds of different crazy objects, experimental spacecraft, and so on. The Parker Solar Probe, right? Fastest object ever built. So, in any case, that's part of it on the Tic Tacs. I mean, I find it extremely likely that all the technology witnessed is man-made. I don't think we need extraterrestrials to make the technology. Is it because we found extraterrestrial technology, or because some ancient version of mankind had some and somebody unearthed them like an archaeological dig and reverse engineered stuff that other humans made? All these things seem more likely than somebody from another world because, again, we don't see a signal for that. So here's a little bit of still imagery of one of these objects. And, they're moving at speeds that are basically incalculable. And I do not see the right thing. Okay, we are displaying the screen there. Perfect. So there's one of the objects, and basically what's been going on is for a long, long time, the Navy's been tracking these devices. So whatever they happen to be, they have very odd flight characteristics. They don't have a heat signature. They don't have control surfaces. They're able to accelerate and decelerate at shocking speeds that exceed any known man-made technology. So that's the Tic Tacs. And, just because an entity officially claims that it doesn't know what the origin of a thing is, doesn't mean it really doesn't know the origin of a thing. In other words, if you've opened Pandora's box and pulled out Pandora and built clones of Pandora and then put Pandora back in the box and then closed the box and said, "Hey everybody, look, it's Pandora." See where I'm going with this? You put it back in the box, but you replicated it. So, and there are many that will claim that Mylar and solid state circuitry, the transistor, etc., are all the result of alien technology. And, ultimately we really don't know. So, but we certainly see the objects, and we certainly see them doing odd things. So here's some more imagery, and the list goes on. This is thermal imagery, obviously. You can see the obvious cold spot there, probably. So it's a little bit on the creepy side. I mean, it's a little on the creepy side, a little bit on the weird side. And we try not to be too creepy and weird on the channel because it's the real nature of reality is creepy and weird enough that it doesn't need to be embellished in a hacky, fraud-like sort of fashion. That's the best way to sort of explain that, I guess. All right, so let's put your chats back on the screen here. And we're going to close things out. I'll let them all scroll, and I'll play another musical ditty. And then we'll shut down the live stream. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to our patrons. And we'll be messing around more with the Zoom chats in the future. Not exactly sure what went on with that, but I think it would have worked fine. There was one of our viewers showed up. And in any case, we didn't see any audio, so we just sort of vacated. And thanks everybody for commenting. We'll close this thing out here real quick with another musical track. And we're going to pick one here that is visible below the video. So in the description below the video, you'll see a SoundClick link. SoundClick.com/GoldenCat Productions. SoundClick.com/GoldenCat Productions. One of the tracks there is Syndicated. And so here's that. And here's more imagery of the sun, a 48-hour video. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Again, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. we'll be doing a live stream. Tune in. There'll be different features all the time. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. smAsho, signing off from the Smash News Network. Least Busted.